Hello everyone, this is Crustlemania, and I just wanted to make this video more as a reflection video. So as of me recording this video, it is the beginning of August, and it's quite interesting because I did not realize that Crustlemania as a channel has been around for about 1 year now. And I was just thinking about this the day before recording this video, realizing that it's been about a year since I've been Crustlemania. And this channel has definitely grown a lot. I was thinking back yesterday basically to when I started Crustlemania, and I remember starting a brand new YouTube channel, and I hadn't done that for a little while. So it's been a little while since I started a YouTube channel from like 0 subscribers, and I remember putting up a stock picture I found online of a Crustle, and then my first like subscribers, which was basically me and a couple of my other accounts that I have for like YouTube accounts per se. And like I remember having, I don't know, was it 10 subscribers for like the longest time. And I also remember like my very first video was basically, you'll see on the channel, was my kind of like prelude or pre-sale of what I was going to put on what I thought was going to be my TCG player account, which eventually I switched over to eBay to sell cards. But originally my very first video was me trying to figure out what the style of videos were going to be for this channel, and also just kind of what I was going to sell. And I viewed this channel more as like a marketing tool than anything else. So I didn't expect to really go super far with Crustlemania. I figured maybe a year at the most, or maybe like 3 to 6 months, depending on how selling was. But I just wanted to see how far I could kind of push the channel in terms of selling. And I wanted to do a PE collections type video series, which he was doing kind of at the time, where he was doing weekly or bi-weekly updates of his selling of bulk and what cards he sold, how much he sold them for, and stuff like that. And I thought that was super interesting at the time because his videos were a little bit more unpolished, and I guess you would say a little more down to earth and raw. So I figured I could do that with my cameras that I have. So I just figured I'd do something kind of really kind of in a low, simple format, raw, more down to earth format. And honestly, it worked for quite a while, and I'm actually surprised because one of my main goals in the very beginning of the selling time was to hit eBay top rated seller, which I think I mentioned in the past. But with my eBay account, I'd sold certain things in the past, but I never really sold cards. So I remember I was at that inflection point, I want to say July of last year, where I'd sold certain things again on eBay, but I was halfway to being a top rated seller last year. So I figured why not? And I figured, if PE collections can kind of do this, I would definitely try it myself and see if I can push to get top rated seller. So I created like a YouTube channel, kind of pushed the series, and went to see how that went, even though I had been out of the Pokemon card space for like a very long time, or just even in the card space in general. I'd not been in it for quite a long time. Let's just go with that. And coming back into it's been very interesting how the trajectory has pretty much changed to more. I'm not even sure where the channel is heading now, because I don't really have any content to go really forward with. I'm just kind of making content here and there, but it's not really selling driven anymore. Although I'm really thinking about another alternative way to kind of get back into that, just because I may need to maintain my sales for eBay. But that's besides the point. It's interesting how the channel started off as like mainly marketing tool into just kind of a Pokemon community appreciation, I guess you would say, because in the beginning it was mostly about trying to make this a side hustle, basically Crustlemania, and kind of selling cards in case I was working and I could do something on the side to make a little extra cash, to realizing that selling the way I was, which was basically flipping raw cards, flipping raw cards, you don't really make much money. If you are trying to make money, you kind of have to upcharge a little bit more than you want to, and eventually it kind of felt like I didn't really feel too good about it. So eventually I realized like for me, if I'm gonna sell, I'm not really gonna make much money off of it. It would be more for just like the pure entertainment value of a series and continuing a series, even though the Pokemon card hobby is very expensive, as everything has gone up quite a bit, and I've definitely noticed that. But for me, like in the beginning, I was kind of more money driven, trying to, get that dollar or whatever. But now it seems like I've just kind of appreciated the community of the Pokemon cards and just kind of experimenting, trying different things out. And there are quite a few people I've met along the way, like the LGS store manager, who was at one of the kind of more franchise stores, where he now opened a store in the Bay Area called Merlion Games, which is pretty crazy. I did not even expect him to do that, but just seeing, having a connection like that, where somebody moved from one store and then kind of opened up their own store, and now and like know like a card store owner, is pretty crazy, just from going on this card journey and meeting some of the vendors at some of the card shows that I've gone to, which is pretty crazy. Like, I guess the most notable one would be like IntropyDR, and I still watch his videos when I have a chance here and there, and learning from his perspective on like grading cards and stuff like that. And then on the YouTube side, just, meeting Lechonkamania, Mimic Brew, Pokemon Soul. It's just pretty crazy, and kind of building this little community on this channel. And then having the Crustlemania theme song featured on one of Mimic Brew's hottest cards of the week, and then exchanging the signature cards and people wanting my signature. That is something I never would have even expected if you had told me like a year ago that someone was going to ask for my signature on a card. I'd be like, why would you want my signature on a card? That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, my signature doesn't add any value. And like, what would my signature even look like? Because I had no clue what a signature card was up until the Lechonkamania Mimic Brew autograph card signature card video. Like, I didn't even know they did that. Like, in the space, like I mentioned before, I thought only athletes did that, or famous actors. I didn't think people in this Pokemon community space did that. So that's kind of shocking to me, because for my other channels in the music space, like, that's not really a thing you do per se. So it's kind of not something I'm not very used to. But just all those different opportunities, and just kind of learning and meeting different people, and having like Lechonkamania with their kindness send me like the mystery box, like that's pretty crazy, and kind of exchanging one mystery box for mystery envelope, and me doing the signature card exchange with Mimic Brew. Like, those are things I never even expected to even do, or even like supply cards for X-Ray Hawks giveaways when he was doing videos in the past. Like, that is something I never even thought about when I first started this channel in the very beginning, as I just thought of this as a marketing tool to use for eBay to sell my cards. So it's just kind of, the community kind of slowly came in, and then I learned more about the card space. And over time, it's been really interesting too, because my friend that's super into cards, he's really into it, but some of his other friends are not super into it. So the fact that he was like, hey, you kind of got into cards, like now he kind of enjoys like opening cards, like kind of with me, even though I don't know most of the cards he opens, like some of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, some of the Magic stuff, like I don't even know, even some of the Pokemon stuff. But more or less now he's into like Magic, as he completed Yu-Gi-Oh, so he's opening up some of the Magic stuff, and I'm learning more about like some of the Magic cards. I'm like, oh shoot, this is crazy. But long story short, just the different opportunities and people that I met over the past year has been pretty crazy. So I'm pretty appreciative of the channel. I just did not even realize that it's been a year that I've uploaded my first video and created Crustlemania here on YouTube. And it's just kind of funny how Lechonkamania also has kind of the same mania name. When they first made a comment on that video I made a while back when I was doing my 3-month realization video, it kind of surprised me that there was another kind of mania channel. So it's just, we're both different accounts, but I didn't think anyone would choose the same name until I saw that. I was like, oh, maybe I should have chose something else, but it's okay. We're already here at this point. And I think the last thing I just remembered now is this is the very first time for anything that I've ever commissioned art from an artist. So the artist is Northstar Studios, I believe, on Instagram. I remember searching for artwork because I wanted a custom graphic, so to speak, for my channel, and I didn't think I'd ever do that. I never commissioned out artwork from an artist before, so this was the very first time that I've done that. And I'm really glad that I did it too, because this Crustle is pretty much what I had in mind when I created Crustlemania. It's just I didn't know how to go about making and commissioning a custom piece of artwork. So it's pretty nice that I can do that because I can kind of use it for kind of marketability, logo ability, but just all the different things that I've learned so far within the last year has been pretty crazy. Um, Honestly, I will say money side wise, it did go totally negative, but I mean, I still have money in the bank to uh, if I need to like purchase cards or if I need to grade cards, I still can. Like I didn't go completely dry. Now, if I didn't have like a starting fund, I don't think I would be so well in the green, but I did learn that in some aspects of what IntropyDR did say in one of their videos, you kind of do have to buy to sell in the space. You aren't going to make a positive deal on every single sale, but sometimes some of those sales that you may not make a lot of money on may lead to something down the road where you might make a lot of money in terms of connections, or if you're on eBay, maybe a repeat buyer, which I did not even realize. So a lot of different aspects that I've learned in this space. A couple of the negatives, I guess you would say, kind of learning is just kind of how the eBay system works with their shipping label, and how they help you sometimes and how they don't help you sometimes. Not going to get totally into that, but in terms of like certain buyers and sellers on eBay, not all of them are bad. There's just some interesting bad characters out there. You just can't avoid that. And the eBay system itself is a little bit tricky. You kind of have to really be on top of it and know kind of everything. But what I don't like personally is they don't really have a customer service line that you can contact anymore like they used to. At least it was a lot harder for me now to get a hold of an actual person to talk to. So that's probably one of my biggest gripes in terms of selling. So if you ever do go into the selling route on eBay, definitely look into that. But overall, so far, it's been an interesting year. I don't really know where the channel is going to go within the next year, just because I don't have a mainstay series for this channel, and I don't really have a lot of time to put into the channel as well as I did last year when I first started. I had a lot more time to dedicate to this channel, and I wanted to dedicate into this channel, so I was trying that. But right now, I am trying to figure out a way to maybe do something that is a little bit more sustainable. It's more expensive, but it's a little bit more sustainable for my time frame. Not permanent, but I might explain it a little bit more in a future video, just because I'm kind of weighing what it is. A precursor, just like an interesting look for that. It could be maybe grading vintage cards, but we're gonna see how my first submission goes. I just submitted my first submission to PSA via GameStop recently of 5 cards, so we will see how that goes and see kind of how the outcome of if I kind of sell the cards or the PSA slabs, like how I do it, where they go. I'm either thinking eBay for some, or the local game store, or Facebook Marketplace. If I don't do Facebook Marketplace, I might do the Merlion Games store, since they're brand new and I know the manager there. Like maybe we can negotiate something in terms of like trade or just sell, depending on what he gives and how much I really want back from the slabs, and depending what grades they are. But long story short, it's kind of in that vein, but I don't really have a set plan on that yet, just because right now the time frame for grading is a lot longer, which for me is actually okay, because if I were to do that, I wouldn't really have to remember kind of what I sent out, and like while I'm busy, like when they come back, then I can figure out what is there. But there's a lot of logistics if I do actual shipping behind the scenes for that. I do have some things, but I would need some other things to definitely go into that versus like the card, like raw card side. So that is an idea. Definitely want to push the vintage side, because I kind of like vintage more. I know a little bit more about vintage. It's not as volatile, but again, anything can change in this card market. So definitely not sticking to that, but it's definitely an idea. But that is just me rambling, but I'm just truly appreciative of the year that it's been for Crustlemania. Honestly, I remember when I was stuck at 20 subscribers, or 20 to 30 subscribers, like in between that 10 kind of subscriber range, 20 to 30, for I want to say a good like month or two. And I was like, oh man, like this channel's not growing. But I was just like pumping out videos every once in a while, like every kind of week, doing that weekly kind of card recap selling results videos series. And I'm just surprised how some of the weeks I had so many sales, and how some of the videos jumped up to like, I don't know, 500, 600 views. Like I was very surprised for some of those videos, and they hit. So, and they had some commenters and some, interaction on those videos. So it was just kind of an interesting thing. The consistency of it all was really nice. And that's kind of what I miss for this channel, is being more consistent with making content. I just don't know what I could do, just because I don't really keep track of the trends in this space. Plus, I don't really have the time to keep track of the trends in the space. So I would like to do something like a selling results video series again. That's kind of consistent. I just don't know if it would be kind of on the selling side, or if it would be with something else within this space. But anyways, enough rambling about where the direction of the channel is going to go. This was more of a reflection, rambling video, and just how far this channel's come. With, I think right now like 125 or 126 subscribers. And I'm just really appreciative of where the journey's gone. And I honestly could not have scripted how far the journey's gone. So we'll see what another year brings. I'm hoping within the next year that Crustlemania passes me in subscriber count. And I'm hoping that Mimic Brew will hit 10K subscribers by the time it's the end of this year. So just putting that out there for both those channels. And I just hope that you all enjoy the channel. Leave comments for what you thought from when you subscribed and have stuck around so far. If you have, or if you've unsubscribed, then you probably wouldn't see this video. But anyways, that's enough of me rambling. Just really crazy that I created this channel like a year ago for pure selling purposes, and now this channel is totally not really a selling focused channel anymore. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and cheers to the future of Crustlemania. All right, have a good one, everyone. Peace.